Okay, this one's gonna be a little bit different. For those who don't know, Lululemon has sued Costco for alleged duping. Let's take a little bit closer look at the lawsuit. When it comes to protecting IP, there's gonna be utility patents, which are gonna be protecting functional patents and how things actually work. There's gonna be design patents, which are gonna be very specific in their scope, and they're what's gonna be called trade dress. And this entire lawsuit covers trade dress. What trade dress would be is an iconic design element. Think Nike's Air Force Ones. Anything that is similar to that aesthetic, you know, and is already going to associate with Nike. What Lululemon's doing here is they're covering specific design elements that they believe is proprietary to their brand. So we actually have one of the alleged infringing items, which is the Kirkland 5-pocket pant, which Lululemon's claiming is infringing on their ABC pant. Let's take a look at those specific claims. The first one that they talk about is this, and pay attention to their wording because it's very specific. The ABC trade dress pants comprise of a fabric that has a synthetic, flat, semi-matte appearance and appears to be largely made of a uniform texture with 4-direction stretch. That's very careful wording here. It's not that it does stretch in 4 directions, it appears so, which when we look at the ABC pant itself, it is made of an elasto multi-ester, and we know the stretches in 4 directions. Whereas if you look at the Costco one, there is no stretch in this, which is why they're very careful with their wording. The ABC trade dress is non-functional. The design features embodied by the ABC trade dress are not essential to the function of the product, do not make the product cheaper or easier to manufacture, and do not affect the quality of the product. Let's take a look at the gusset, which is the foundation to the ABC technology. An outlined area of the crotch region that is formed by ornamental lines, at least one of which extends through the crotch region and at least partially down each leg, and another which is curved towards the back of the pant. This is your gusset panel here. You actually see the gusset panel is a little bit different in shapes, but they both follow curve. Their claim is that the design elements here are non-functional. But when you really look at what a gusset does, it's about having enough fabric here to alleviate pressure from the front and back seams to make it more comfortable for the wearer. So naturally, this is a shape that you would have to, one, be able to sew a very clean line, and two, be able to have enough fabric in the right places to stretch properly. So what they're saying here is these are ornamental lines and not functional, which that's really what makes the ABC pant anti-ball crushing, is the actual gusset itself, is the shape of the gusset. So I'm going to be very surprised if they're able to fight that in court. But this is probably why they're demanding a trial by jury and not a trial by judge, because a judge can be very specific to the wording of the law, whereas a jury might be able to be swayed a specific direction. The next element that they are claiming as part of their trade dress is this back yoke, an ornamental line extending the rear of the pants above any pocket, but below any belt loops, which they both have. But the back yoke itself, again, is a functional element of making pants because you need to take flat fabric around the glutes. Having a back yoke allows you to actually have additional patterns at an angle to accommodate. And their final claim for the ABC pant here, the ornamental lines, again, these are ornamental lines of the front pocket arc from a region near the waistband towards the side of the pants, and ending which is overlapped by a decorative metal circle. The metal circle, in fact, is what's called a rivet. It's there to reinforce the pocket and make it stronger. So whenever you're putting your hand in and out, the tension is placed on the rivet. Let me show you something else that has these exact same elements. That is any pair of 5-pocket denim. We actually have a pair of Levi's 505, and this design is from 1967. You'll see that what Lululemon is claiming is a ornamental line that ends in a decorative metal circle is present in a almost 50-year-old design, because that's just how you design front pockets. The back yoke, which they claim is purely decorative, is present on their pant. It's present on the 5-pocket pant from Kirkland. It is also present in this almost 50-year-old design from Levi's. The fact that Lululemon is claiming that this is their trade dress is very questionable to me because it is present in so many other designs. They're claiming that it's just their iconic look. One thing that you'll also see in Lululemon's lawsuit is that they show examples that do not, quote unquote, infringe on their trade dress. However, you'll notice that these are quite cherry-picked because all of these are side access pockets. Their final claim on the ABC pant is the design features of the ABC trade dress are not comparatively simple or inexpensive to manufacture because the elements are more complex than other garments. That is true. You're adding more panels, you're adding more sewing steps. However, the back yoke being present in pretty much a 50-year-old design, from a pattern making perspective, it is functional. The gusset, from a pattern making perspective, is functional. The shape of this gusset is functional. The way you actually sew it with one long inseam is going to be the best way to sew it for manufacturing purposes. Having one long inseam that is top stitched to remove the bulk from the serge, and then sewn at this angle, this is going to be a very easy curve to manufacture for sewing. If you're not doing a curve like this, you need to do a straight line. So in my opinion, when it comes to the claims specifically on the ABC pant, I think that they're kind of reaching with those trade dress claims because those are elements that will be present. Just Google 5-pocket pant. They're going to be present on pretty much all of those pants. That being said, are these alleged dupes comparable to the ABC pant? I would say no. Honestly, the fabric choice on the ABC pant is much better. The workmanship is much better. I don't think that the consumer who is looking to buy this pant is the same consumer who's looking to buy this pant. And this is where I think Lululemon kind of misstepped here because now so many more people are aware of this product. Looking at the other claims, they say the Define jacket has these ornamental seams, which are called princess seams in pattern making, which is very common in dressmaking, are iconic to their track jacket. They also say the back vent is non-functional and is purely ornamental, which it's a back vent. It allows you to remove heat from the body. You'll see this a lot in hiking shirts and very common in jackets as well. When brands are not performing as well as they should be in their minds for sales, this is one of the first things that they start doing. And it seems just like a checkbox because I saw Nike do that with Sue Surgeon. I am now seeing Lululemon, which also had a poor performing quarter, launch this lawsuit. But it is important that we do not let brands claim something that they did not invent and is not trade dressed specifically to them as their IP. If they are successful with this lawsuit, and because they've chosen a trial by jury who is not going to be fully educated on pattern making, this could be dangerous for all of us because they're claiming a back yoke, which again is present on a 50-year-old design, is their iconic design element. Parts even like the gusset, which are present in some of the oldest pairs of pants, they're trying to claim is their trade dress. And if Lululemon is ultimately going after Costco, which has a big enough legal team to fight this, this is more so a signal to every other brand. Would I be surprised if the Kirkland team drew inspiration from the ABC pant? Absolutely not. Just as I wouldn't be surprised if the ABC pant team drew inspiration from a pair of denim, because that is how good product development works. You build upon the ideas that come before you. They didn't invent having these seams. They didn't invent having a gusset. They did not invent having a back yoke. And they really did not invent having a rivet secure pant pocket.